Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to my world. And it's time for another Wayback Wednesday. Now, some of you may or may not know that my sister Freda appears in some of the videos alongside me, and she's often teaching some new project that she has come up with. So this project that you're about to see, which is called T-shirt necklaces, is a great recycled project that she came up with, and we're going to share it right now. Hi, I'm Sophie, and welcome to my world. Today I have my amazing designer sister Freda here with me, and today she's going to be teaching us how to do this amazing upcycled T-shirt necklace. Yeah, it could be a necklace, scarf, it's amazing. You received this as a present from Colleen, right?
Right, my husband's sister gave me one of these like 5 years ago, and just recently I was like, I need to learn how to make those. Went on YouTube, learned how to make it, and I'm completely obsessed with them and loving making them for gifts.
Well, and what happened then is Freda brought it back to the warehouse, and she was like, ooh, Sophie, you should check this out. This is a really cool craft. And what I loved about it was a perfect craft for both young and older people. So, I mean, kids could do it, but also teens and tweens and parents, they were really getting into them as well. And so we started taking them to our library program, and the results and the response were amazing.
Very positive.
People were coming up with amazing stuff. And then we actually kind of just realized that there's a lot that can be done with just a simple T-shirt. And the thing about it is, like, everybody has these old T-shirts. You know, so it was great. I mean, it's just been a great project for us. So we want to share that with you. So you want to show them a couple of the little ones that you've made? This one's spectacular.
Pretty wild example here.
Yeah, and there's some braiding in here, and there's also, you can see there's some little bohemian kind of tie-offs going on here, and then these really kind of fun frondies.
And then this is a thinner one, and this one, these were both made out of just one shirt.
Well, the great thing is that you can get a lot out of one shirt. Believe it or not, out of one shirt you can get sometimes even two of these, depending on how thin you make them, but you can also get from the sleeves you can get a bunch of bracelets, and you can actually, from the top part of the T-shirt, you can get headbands, anklets, wraparound wrist things. I mean, it's really fun, right?
Definitely. Lots can be done with this stuff.
And so all we really need is a T-shirt.
A T-shirt?
And it's just one T-shirt, right?
One T-shirt. We're going to use an accent color, so we just pulled
from
a piece
another
off
T-shirt.
of another T-shirt. But yeah, all you need is one T-shirt.
So if you have extra T-shirts, you can also use those.
Yeah,
right?
add extra
here,
colors.
Here I've got a couple blues and a ribbon, and I've got this really cute little pink in there.
Yeah.
So we are also going to be using a little ribbon for ours, right?
Right, because I like to have a little sparkly bit in it like that.
But you don't have to use that. But you know, if you want to add a little bit of sparkle, you can. You're going to need about 2 yards of ribbon, though, right?
Well, as long as your T-shirt is,
right.
Like when we get to that part, as long as it is.
So, but it's good to have about 2 yards.
2 yards, yeah, sure.
Should do you, right? Okay, and then we're going to be using a different technique than you actually
learned.
First initially learned. We're going to be using some rubber bands in ours, and the most important thing,
brand new scissors, super sharp.
You need really good, sharp fabric scissors. That's really super important. Okay, so let's open up our T-shirt. And I guess the bigger the T-shirt, the bigger the necklace, right?
Right. You know, it's actually kind of great to use kids' T-shirts if you wanted a smaller one.
Okay, so we're going to open up the T-shirt, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off the hem. Now, this is kind of important because you're going to need that hem for the back part, for sealing this part at the back, right in here. And this is made from this hem down here. So what you're going to do is actually line up your hem as best you can, and then Freda's just going to cut as close as she can without going into the hem. And so you're going to have a little tiny bit of extra on the outside there, and if you've got a T-shirt that you can make sure that you line that hem up really good while you're cutting, that's even better. The nice thing about the hem is that it's a large area of fabric that you'll be able to use for wrapping off the end. You might not need all of it, but there she goes.
And we're just going to sit that to the side.
Always better to have more than less. Okay, so now what she's going to do is, are you going to cut it at under the sleeves?
Yes, let's do that.
So she's going to, just to make it easier on herself, she's going to cut it right underneath where the sleeve part is. So right underneath the armpit there. Boop, you got it. Now, in this case, you can cut the strips in different varied lengths. So shall we do a couple just
widths?
Excuse me, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
widths. They're all gonna be the same lengths. Thank you, I apologize. So here's the deal. She's cutting these about 1 inch wide, right? And then let's do one that's a little bit thicker too. Go ahead, finish that one. She's gonna do one that's about 1 inch wide, and then she's gonna do one that's about 2 inches wide, and then
We can show you the difference when you stretch them.
exactly. So what we're going to be doing with these, shall I go ahead and show them?
Please.
Okay, while you're cutting. So what we're going to be doing with these is actually just pulling the fabric. And this is where it's really fun for the little kids, sorry about that, for the little guys, because they can do this stretch Armstrong kind of thing, which is really kind of fun. They love doing this. So what you want to do is grab one end and the other end and just pull. And then what I like to do is take my thumb and my pointer finger and just kind of lock it around and slide, 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 slide. So you're making almost like big spaghetti pieces. Now, while she's continuing to cut here, what I'm going to do is just show you, this is the thicker piece. And when you pull that and slide it around, you can see it's a little chunkier. Now what happens when you are sliding your hand around and also when you pull is that the t-shirt material, the way it's designed, the way it's created, it folds in on itself.
Right,
so
this is a cotton t-shirt.
Right, oh yeah, that's true. We forgot to tell you that. You want to make sure that you use a cotton t-shirt. And so it's really, really great because you don't have to worry about any fraying, you don't have to worry about any ragged ends because it pulls in on itself. So now we're going to pull all of these, and once Freda's done cutting, we'll get all of them going at the same time here. And so we're going to pull and stretch, and pull and stretch. And so once you've got all of your pieces stretched, then you get to start designing. Now I like, personally, the whole braided thing.
Me too.
So I think we should show them how to do the braid, don't you? Okay, so you keep going like that, and I'll get them started on the braid. So what we're going to do is take one of our pieces. Why don't you just keep stretching those? What I'm going to do is take one of my pieces that I've already stretched, and I'm just going to snip one end so that I now have an open string. And remember we said that we were going to use an accent piece. This is from another t-shirt. And so I'm going to stretch this one as well. Give it a little swoosh around. Didn't you love, Freda went to the library with me the last day, a couple days ago, and didn't you love how the little guys were like way into pulling these things?
They were really into that. They were putting them under their feet and stretching them up.
It was really cute. It was like watching them exercise. It was really cute. So now I've got the two pieces here. And don't get worried if one is a little bit bigger than the other. That's going to happen if you have t-shirts of two different sizes. And I'm going to take this piece of ribbon. And what I'm going to do is just lay the three of them together, side by side. And I like to use these little rubber bands. Now, the way you learned it was to actually tie a knot.
Yep.
Right?
But what we learned with the kids at the library is that actually made it a little bit more challenging when finishing it. So Sophie came up with this rubber band idea to help keep this back piece more flat, which is really, really great here.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this, and what I want to do is kind of give myself a little bit of extra hanging off the end here.
Probably got about 3 inches there.
And so you really want to rubber band this so that it's nice and tight and it's going to stay together. I used 2, and these are these tiny little rubber bands that you use for those little braids and stuff like that, or like the what is it, that rainbow loom, right?
Oh,
that
yeah.
size. Okay, so now we're going to start braiding. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
I'll hold. So now we're just going to start braiding, and we're actually not going to braid this whole thing, but just to give you a little braid tutorial, you always are going to be going top, bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, and you're always
over center.
Yeah, you're always bringing the top over the center, then the bottom over the center, and then top over the center, and the bottom over the center.
You get the idea.
And you just keep going. So we've actually got one all done here, and now we're going to start to assemble the necklace.
Yes.
So we're going to just take the pieces that we've got stretched and pulled and line them all up together.
Shall I put them on your hand?
Sure. Now, the great thing about this is that you can make a couple necklaces out of this if you would like. And that's probably pretty good. What do you think?
You good with that one? Let's put the fat one in, and let's make it doubled up on itself.
Sure. All right.
Which would also look nice.
Oh, so let's show them how to do that though. So you've got your fat one here, and we're going to double it up by figure eighting it. So we just cross it and pull it up.
There, how's that?
And that's pretty.
It's nice.
And now we're going to add this pretty one. Now this is where we're going to take this up here and line it up with the top. And this is why I decided not to put my knot here, instead used rubber band, because, can you hold that for me?
Yes.
Because what I'm going to do is take these two ends, I've got the two t-shirt ends, and I'm just going to tie them to these hoops. And then we're going to loop the other end up. I'm going to leave a tiny bit of space in between. You got that?
Mm-hmm.
And just a tiny little bit, doesn't need to be much. I'm just going to tie that off. And then these two pinkies, I'm actually going to tie those together. And you can do a little double knot there, just to make those nice and secure. Okay, so we can keep a little bit of this extra, but we really don't need all of it.
Yeah, let's trim it. Let's give it a little haircut.
Mm-hmm. So go ahead. Great.
I left about an inch, right?
Mm-hmm. Just enough to
I'm
make.
missing one of the blue ones. Did I get them all?
I think you
there
got it.
is.
Did you get it?
Okay.
Great. And we just want to line this up to make sure that they're falling in the same direction.
Now it's time for the hem that
Now,
we sat to the side before.
Right, and the hem is the tricky part, I think, a little bit, don't you?
Yes. It's the trickiest part for little hands, but bigger hands shouldn't have too much trouble. So I cut the hem open.
And then shall I hold this for you?
Sure. So then I'm going to start on this side.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to take this, wrap it around, and give it a single knot.
And you want to pull this really super tight, right?
I say so tight that you start to hear the stitches pop.
Oh,
there you
go.
Give this a little trim.
Now, Freda has a technique here that you want to make sure that the finished end, right, is facing up.
Right, like see the underside part is just not quite as neat as what it would have been the outside of the t-shirt. So anyway, now I'm taking the very bottom hem and just always keeping that attractive side on the outside of the wrap.
And I'm just holding down these shorter ends here. As she's going to wrap those are going to get wrapped in place and disappear.
Yeah, this is a good part to do with a friend if you had smaller hands.
Yeah, this was the one part that the little kids had some trouble with, but this was the only part they really had any trouble with.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get my hand out of the way. And so you keep wrapping this around until you feel like you've covered all of those.
I feel like I covered it.
Yeah, all of those areas.
And now we're going to do the exact same thing with our knot. Single knot.
Mm-hmm.
And pull, pull, pull until you hear the stitches pop, like so tight.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Now, what you did, because you like to wear yours a lot, is you actually came back and with a needle and thread, you did give it a little sewing, right?
I did, because the one that I've been really loving to wear all the time, I just wanted to make sure that it totally stayed. So I just stitched that up a little tiny bit, but when we've been making them with kids, we haven't done that. And it seems to be fine.
And then, so then we would just take this end here and kind of tuck it under, or do you cut it, or what do you do?
Cut. Okay. So we pulled it tight.
Mm-hmm. There's that ripping sound.
Pop, pop, pop. Right.
And there you have it. And then when you put it on,
Shall I put it on?
just be careful. There you go. And then you can have fun with these as well, and you can loop them up and around if you want to. Make them a little shorter.
Oh, thank you.
Quite lovely.
So nice.
And that's how you take a t-shirt and turn it to an amazing upcycled
Necklace.
There you go. For more great recycled crafts, come and check us out at Sophie-World.com.